Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net, and it is Thursday the 25th of June. Thanks again for watching. This is your look ahead video, and as it's Thursday we've got the latest output from the Japanese Meteorological Agency model for the coming month. I have to say, not entirely convinced by this one, but I'll show you in just a moment why. This is the forecast they've produced for week 1, 500 millibar height anomalies. So, for those of you who haven't watched before, the 500 millibar height anomaly is the change from normal at about 5,000 feet in the... at about 500 millibars in the atmosphere, and what that shows us is where height's lower or higher than normal, where the higher tends to be towards high pressure, lower tends to be towards lower pressure. So this is the week 1 anomaly, and this takes us up to Thursday the 2nd of July, and you notice here look, this big build of heights through central parts of Europe, trough though out here in the Atlantic. So it's this ridge here which is going to be building the heat across many central parts of France, also through parts of Spain, and eventually spilling its way eastwards during the course of the coming week. We'll get some heat here in the UK as well. It'll be warmer for all, but particularly so across eastern and southern areas. Could be looking at 30 degrees. Now into week 2, the JMA certainly keeps the ridge off towards the east look, brings the trough to the west of the UK, still got this ridge out here, so it's kind of trying to hint that yes, things do turn more mixed gradually from the west, but with quite a big ridge across much of the country at first into next weekend, and then probably this trough trying to break through, bringing some more thundery outbreaks of rain. But I do think the JMA may be a bit late with those. I think they're going to be middle to latter stages of next week. And then into weeks 3 and week 4. So this is running up from the 10th of July, taking us all the way to the 24th of July. It brings in more of a westerly flow. Look, we've got a ridge out here. We've got a trough in the Atlantic, a ridge off towards the east as well. But it tends to lean into more changeable conditions. And that's sort of where I think it will end up. And I think it's really important to note how little the CFS makes of the coming brief hot spell during next week. Look, this is the forecast for the CFS rainfall for week 1, ending the 1st of July. And notice, look, largely dry conditions far south of the country, across France, across Spain, across Portugal as well. But by week 2, you'd kind of be forgiven for thinking, well, that's just a mixed pattern. I think what he's trying to show is a couple of things. One is the breakthrough, the westerlies across the UK, but also a tendency towards some heavy thunderstorms moving north out of France because of the generation of the heat there. And then week 3 up to the 15th of July, again, we're back looking into more unsettled conditions. Jet tending to try and run down here. Notice the wet weather here, look across central parts of Europe. Outbreaks of rain across the UK. And it just eases it off a touch into the middle part of July, which I think is probably quite reasonable. I don't really think that either of those models have got this one particularly very licked. I do think, though, that the hot spell we get next week not lasting too long, 3, perhaps 4 days at the most, and then going thundery in the back end of the week and into next weekend. And then I think we do go more back into a more mixed flow. Now, of course, as I've been stressing, mixed means exactly that. It's not unsettled, but it's not completely dry. We get outbreaks of rain, most of it tending to be through western areas, temperatures around about or just above normal for the time of year. So it's not a washout by any means, and it's not horrendous. It just goes into more mixed, I suppose you'd almost call it changeable conditions. And they're still looking towards that middle section of July. 15th to 20th is the period I'm watching for the potential for perhaps 5 or 6 days of drier weather. Of course, keep you updated right the way throughout here at weatherweb.net. But for now, whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now.